Toss aside the touchy-feely notions of love in business and recognize the real power it holds. Welcome to the Love is Just Damn Good Business podcast with host Steve Farber. Drawing on his work with a wide variety of companies from the Fortune 100 to smaller family-owned businesses, Farber shares inspiring interviews with business leaders and proven strategies for how you can create experiences that your customers will love by developing a culture that your employees, teammates, and colleagues love working in. Discover why and how love, at the end of the day, is just damn good business for you too. Here's your host, Steve Farber.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Love is Just Damn Good Business podcast. I am your host, Steve Farber, and you can listen to this podcast. You can watch it on video. You can read the entire transcript at stevefarber.com/podcast. And personally, I recommend you do all of it. Listen to it, watch it, read it, because that way you have a better chance of retaining it. My guest today is Roger Dean Bates, who is the president of Assault Fitness in Carlsbad, California. Now, let me tell you why I asked, we could call him Roger, we could call him Dean, we could call him RDB. Why I asked, I'll call him Dean for the purposes of this conversation.
You're my new friend.
Okay, good. So new friend category calls him Dean. So Assault Fitness are the producers of fitness equipment, including the Assault bike. Now, if you've ever set foot, for example, in a CrossFit gym, you will have experienced the Assault bike. It's a stationary bike where you move the handlebars, you move the pedals, it resists whatever you put into it. And it is a piece of equipment that people, and I'm not exaggerating this, love and hate with equal measure. Probably hate more than love. It's a very intense machine, and it is one of my all-time favorite machines.
There you go.
So I'm really excited to have Dean on the show. Interestingly enough, Dean does not have a published bio, and I challenge you to go and try to find one. Just go ahead and Google Roger Dean.
No,
Bates.
Don't dig too deep. You might find some skeletons in the closets.
All right, yeah, keep it on the surface, but you won't find a bio. So I'm just going to read you something, and we'll hear Dean's story here in just a second. But I'm going to read you something from the Assault Fitness website in their About Me section. This is how they describe themselves. At Assault Fitness, we don't just manufacture machines. We create opportunities to improve life through fitness. As a team, we aim to strengthen, support, educate, and inspire everyone from professional athletes to those just beginning their fitness journeys. Whether designing elite fitness equipment or encouraging educational development, we promise to always uphold and elevate the standards of life for individuals and communities across the globe. And that, to me, is the key phrase. We promise to always uphold and elevate the standards of life for individuals and communities across the globe. And what was obvious to me, Dean, when you and I had a couple of conversations recently to get to know each other, that's a standard that you hold to yourself. It's not just something that you do as a company with what you offer the world. And I'm really excited to hear your story and to share your story with our listeners. So RDB, Roger Dean, Roger, welcome to
Yes.
the episode.
Thank you. So I'm actually very fortunate to be on your show. I've been, asked to be on a couple podcasts, and I turned them all down. So once I went on yours and I read about you as a person and what your values and mission statement is and your bio, I realized that this is kind of my belief, and this is what I preach every day. So I thought it'd be a good match. And this is my first podcast. So everybody out there, don't be too judgmental. I'm just a normal guy chasing the dream, and it's working.
That's great. Well, thank you. I'm honored that this is your maiden voyage in the world of podcasts and interviews. So I want to hear your story. So tell us, you're an entrepreneur, obviously. You started this company how many years ago?
20.
20 years ago. Wow. But take us back. So what is your background? What led you to this line of work to begin with?
So I'm just going to go back real quickly, just so everybody kind of understands who I am. I'm just a good old boy from Iowa, Davenport, Iowa, and I was raised to work hard, and I was raised like the good old days. And I don't want to sit here and I don't tell my kids this and everybody, because everybody doesn't want to hear this, but it's the truth. Just paper routes at 10, shoveling walks and trying to make enough money to buy school clothes and, not brought up in the projects, but just middle class. My dad's a machinist. My mom's a secretary and, just good people, but I was brought up to work. If I wanted nice shit, I had to work. If I wanted Walmart stuff, I wear what they buy me, or garage sale. Yeah, I'm a garage sale kid. I drove my mom around to garage sales at 14 in the Honda Accord with a gear shift. I loved it. Drop her off VIP style, valet. I'd drop her off, pick her up. I loved it. So I wasn't afraid to wear, garage sale clothes. When I tell my kids that now, they laugh. They're like, Dad, I wouldn't. But funny thing is now they're going to vintage stores buying used clothes. Anyway, so did that and, just got a job, been working my ass off. And I realized at about 16, living in Davenport, Iowa, that I wanted to be in California. I used to come home for, lunch with my buddy and I'd watch Santa Barbara. I saw palm trees, fast cars, and hot chicks. And I said to my buddy, you know what? That's where I'm going. He says, yeah, right. I said, I'm going there. Trust me. And so, my parents, as I graduated high school, I went to a semester of college. My parents moved from Iowa to Phoenix. And I said, hey, guys, can I come stay with you? And they said, sure. So I went down there with, my KZ 900 and about $300. Lived with them. I was at that time in Davenport, Iowa. I was a cook at a restaurant from 15 to 19, 18. So anyway, so I know how to cook at a restaurant. So now I don't want to be a cook because a cook's not cool. Now you're venturing out. Now you want to be a waiter. So I went down there and when I was living there, I found the best restaurant that was close to me. And there was a line of people and I went in there. I applied his job as a waiter. It was the Olive Garden in Mesa, Arizona. The place had a 50-minute wait. So I started working there, put my bow tie on, and I was this new guy, right? Anyway, I met some people in LA that were the waiters and waitresses. And one of the waitresses said, hey, I'm going to LA. If anybody wants to go, I need a roommate. I said, I'll go. What part of LA? She says, the beach. I said, I'll go. I also started thinking maybe I'll be an actor. I was saying to myself, I've always been this funny, outgoing character. And I thought, well, shit, maybe I'll be on TV. Maybe everybody will like me. Maybe everybody will think I'm funny. Well, anyway, I go to LA and I don't have a car, by the way. I got rid of my bike, my motorcycle. And I went and got a job at the front desk Sheraton and I was in a polyester suit. I was taking the bus from Playa del Rey to LAX. And I got to tell you, one thing hit me. I got to tell the story.
I'm just trying to picture you in a polyester suit, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It was, I'll never forget it. Green, orange tie, front desk, cool hotel. A lot of good stories from that, but I won't share those with you on screen. But anyway, I'm waiting at the bus stop. And I'm in California, kind of a good looking guy, funny, but no one really knows it when they look at me. And they these 4 girls pull up to the stop. And they're in a convertible Mustang, and they're about 20 years old, and they got the music playing, haters going over. I was like, they pull up and they stop, and they look at me, and then they look back like, oh, he's kind of cute, and then they start laughing, and they pull off, and I was like, oh my God, they just laughed at me. You know why? Because I was broke.
No, it's because you're wearing a green polyester suit with an orange tie.
No. I'm going to do something with my life. Even though I knew back in Iowa, I couldn't do something with myself. I had school. Now I can. I have to make that choice. So I, got a better job as a waiter, got a job as a bartender. And here's where it hit. I was working at a bartender nightclub at 21 years old. And this is a big nightclub. And I said to the GM, hey, can I put some condom machines in the restroom and I'll share the profits with you? She said, sure. So I saved up my money, bought a condom machine for $600, put it in the bathroom. I think I sold 2 in about 3 months. Took that down, realized, okay. So then as a bartender, I thought to myself, hey, other people want to be a bartender. So I made a bartending video. And I'd go around to places, I'd put this piece of paper with little tags, say, become a bartender for $19.99. I sold 2. I'm starting to doubt myself just a little bit here, right? I'm thinking, I should be an actor. That's what it is.
Okay, so wait a minute. So let me stop you right there for a second. So just so I'm hearing this right, your first two outings as an entrepreneur was you sold 2 condoms and two lessons on how to be a bartender. That's where we are. That's where we are so far.
Yeah,
okay.
That's correct.
So you're thinking maybe acting is a good idea.
Yeah. So I got my headshots, and I said, maybe I'm not as smart as I am cute and funny. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just from Iowa. Maybe I'm not that smart, I guess. I just have big dreams. So I got my headshots and sent them out, got a little agent. And all of a sudden, I got a call from my agent. They said, hey, somebody wants to see you really bad. I'm like in Playa del Rey, which is, I had to go to Hollywood, which is, it's a 20-minute drive. I still don't have a car. So she says, hey, somebody they want to see you for a commercial. I never returned her call. First call I got, I was scared. Second call, they really want to see you. Okay, so I had enough money to take a cab across town. So I get into the audition. It was actually for a Pepsi commercial. And I didn't realize that. So the guy, the director says, hey, I get up there and he says, Slate. And I said, what does that mean? He said, your name, your agency. I said, oh. So I say my name. I forgot the name of the agency. No joke. He goes, okay, here's your audition. Huh? I need you to say, mine has anchovies and double cheese, please. And you're going to be in a frog suit. And I need you to go in the room for a couple minutes to rehearse your lines. And he was a jerk. And so he sent me in there. I came out and I said, what's a frog suit? He says, you're kidding me. I said, no, I'm not kidding you. What's a frog suit? He says, okay, say your lines. So I said my lines, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm going to embarrass myself. And he said, I'm going to give you one more shot. I said it. He goes, kid, go take some acting classes. And I said, okay. And I walked out with my head down. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get home? Because I don't have any more money. And I met this girl. She was there. And I pulled on the charm and I got her right home. So, at that point, I realized that maybe I'm not an actor either. So now I'm a bartender. Now I had to stick to my business idea because that's who I am. And, I met this guy. He came into the bar throwing hundreds around, ordering Dom Perignon. And I looked over him. I knew he was the baller. And I said, hey, I'm 21 years old, by the way. I said, hey, what do you do for work? This is a nightclub, busy as shit. He goes, I sell real estate. I said, I want to be like you one day. And he goes, just keep doing what you're doing. I was like, wow, okay. And he said, he throws me his card and says, if you're ever interested, let me know. I said, well, I don't know how to sell. I got people through. Hey, buddy, get 2, 3 Bud Lights. Hey. Shh. This is freaking important shit. Okay. What was that again? He said, he goes, you could be a good salesman. And I said, really? I've never done it. He goes, you could do it. So anyway, at that point, I realized maybe I'm a sales guy. So now all of a sudden, my buddy was selling fitness equipment at a local store. He convinced me to come work part-time at a little retail store down in LA selling high-end fitness equipment. So I did that. And bartended for about 2 years. And I realized that these guys, I was actually getting pretty good at it, but I realized that the owners were getting really rich. And I'm making more as a bartender, but I'm making these guys rich. So I decided to start selling fitness equipment out of my garage. So I quit. I knew people were calling the store going, hey, I got this treadmill here and it doesn't work and I want to sell it. Do you guys buy used treadmills? No, we don't buy used treadmills. Aha. Market right there. So the problem is I'm not going to get the calls from these stores because they have big yellow pages, blah, blah, blah. But I can still figure that out. So I ran some classified ads that said, I buy and sell new and used fitness equipment, or I'll buy your treadmill for, I'll buy your treadmill top dollar, blah, blah, blah. So I'd go look at it. Of course, I knew about products, so I would make them a fair deal, come back, clean it up, and sell it, make the profit. So I did that for quite some time. I actually did pretty good.
And you did all of that out of your garage, basically?
That's correct. I rented a home and I did it right out of my garage. So now I'll try to speed up the story just a little bit here because it might get too long. But this is the truth. So then the problem with me is I know how to make money really quick, but I know how to spend it just as quick. Actually quicker. And that's always been my demise because I'm the type of guy, hey, if you're in my posse and I make $1,000 in 2 hours, where would you like to go eat? That's just how I am. Or what strip club would you like to go to, right? Whatever it was, which I'd never do that, by the way, because I condemn that. So, and I wasn't married, but I still condemn it. But anyway, I just realized that I needed some structure in my life if I was ever going to be successful, because now I know how to make money, but I don't know how to build anything. I just know how to spend. So here's where it gets interesting. So I was actually I was living in Van Nuys, working out of the garage, returning classified ads. There was a girl that lived a couple doors down from me, and she was trying to be an actress, and coming from Vegas and working 2 jobs and blah, blah, blah. But she's a bookkeeper at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Cute, smart. So I started dating her, and I said, hey, she goes, what do you do? And I take her in the garage and I show her, and she's like, well, I don't understand. What do you do? And I go, oh, I advertise these treadmills and I sell it. And I said, but I'm ready to move on to something bigger. And I said, in fact, now I'm dating her probably 3 months ago. In fact, you want to move to Texas with me? And she said, hell no. I said, I'll make you a deal. And I actually ran some classified ads in the Dallas Morning News, and I did some test marketing, and I got a lot of calls. So I thought that was a very prominent area that everybody was moving. Frito-Lay, everybody was going to Dallas, Texas. So I thought there's prime, a lot of good monies there with new homes. I want a fitness room. So anyway, I did the test marketing, got a voicemail, and it took off. So I convinced her by saying to her, I'll tell you what, Tracy, how about if I make you 50-50 partner? She said, okay. Next thing you know, we're in a U-Haul, never been to Dallas, Texas, and we're driving. Equipment in the back of the U-Haul, pulling her car, and we got 2 little puppies, right?
And you were about how old at this time?
I was 27.
Okay.
Right. So I draw a circle of Dallas, and I'm like, okay, if we're going to capture the whole market, what city should we go to? Happened to be Irving, Texas. So I said, let's go to Irving. So we go to Irving. Of course, we have about $3,000 or $4,000 cash, maybe 5 credit cards, and I have about $10,000 worth of equipment in the back. That's my life is equipment, right? Just keep building, maybe 15, whatever the number was. So she still was reluctant. She's got good credit. She didn't put her name on shit, right? So we didn't want to go get a big retail store because I'll tell you, people don't want to lease to you when you don't have anything. Right. Good spots don't come that way. You got to go to you got to go to the worst center and the worst spot. They'll lease to you. So I did. And I tore it up. Oh my God. I was doing so much business. I was in store advertising and classified. My store was probably 400 square foot. I went to Best Buy or Home Depot, and I took a book rack and I turned it around as my countertop so I could put my phone and my credit card machine and my business card. So I looked really legit. The only problem with that was don't lean on it when you're coming to write me something because it'll fall over, right? So we did that for about 6 months, and I was killing it. So then we got a better store now up on Preston Road, which is the main road. But once again, when you're on the main road, A+, you're not getting that spot that comes available. Only the big guy gets it. The big guy gets everything. The little guy gets shit. Welcome to the world. This is the way it is. Okay. So we decided to get on the main road, but a location in the back. Nobody wants to be in the back, so that's available. Of course, there's a big Blockbuster Video right in front of us. So people say, well, how? But when you go to Yellow Pages, which is back in the day, you're looking at all these ads, and you're like, okay, let's go shopping today, honey. You don't know I'm in the back. All you know is I have a big ad, and I say Preston Road. I took an old van and I painted it that said fitness equipment here with an arrow, right? That's, to capture that traffic. Did over $1 million a year out of that store. I became a real pain in the ass for my big competitors, which were Busybody, who at that time had 80 stores, 7 in Dallas, Fitness in Motion had 6 stores. I mean, it was like they had the best brands out there. You know what brands I had? I couldn't get shit. I call manufacturers. No, I had the worst brands. The brands
now, were you still selling, reselling used equipment, or were you starting to sell the new stuff now?
Well, the used stuff, let's call it, became not really. They were more bolted to the floor, if you know what I mean. But I did sell them, but I would advertise some used products, and I sold new and used equipment, primarily new because it had a warranty, it was softer, and I could get them all to go hunt. but I still took the stuff on trade.
So the good price on the used stuff brought people in. Then they would see what was available.
And I would sell whatever they want, whatever you want. It didn't matter to me. But, I have the tendency to push people what I want to sell. Number one. Number two, I push people what I think they need. And I will tell you, this kind of get into the nuts and bolts of who I am today based on that is I believe that as a salesperson, I'm a born again salesperson is what I am. But you don't have to be full of shit as a salesperson. You got to be authentic. And you have to be trusting. If people trust you, they will buy from you. And how you back that up is by your word. And how you back that up is you stand by your word. You have to be, if you say something, then do it, So most people are full of shit. And if you ask them 6 months later, they don't know who you are. I didn't say that. No, somebody's not just going to say that if you didn't say it, especially in business. So be impeccable to your word, So anyway, just these lines were I could sell whatever I wanted to anybody, So that line that nobody wanted, I went and grabbed. And guess who called? And all of a sudden I was kicking my guy's ass across the street who had a 4,000 square foot store right on the main street with the fanciest brands, $100,000 finish out. I had a freaking paint and a black stripe. And it was just looked like shit. But once again, people buy from people. I think at the end of the day, that's another thing that I say, which you have a lot of quotes, by the way, Steve, and I read your quotes, which I really like, by the way. And one of mine is people buy from people. And I have no idea if these quotes are something I stole from somebody or something I made up. I don't know. I really don't. I just know whenever I hear something, Steve, it sinks into me and I hear it. And if I like it, I repeat it. And I say what I say, and I don't say that's my quote. People buy from people. And at the end of the day, if you always remember that at any business you're doing, you will understand from, and you can be an employee, you can be an entrepreneur, but if you have a good attitude and you have good energy about you, it will attract. And if you hold the door open for people, people like to see that. And really at the end of the day, you're just being a good person on this planet. And I hold the door open all the time for people. And they're like, whoa, they're still gentlemen. I'm like, well, gentlemen are still out there, but it's the father's problem. It's the father's fault, because if a father teaches their children to open the door for people, the kid will open the door. So it all comes from it. I don't have a father. Okay, great. Be a gentleman. Treat people with respect.
So when you say open the door for people, you mean literally open the door for people.
That means this.
So how about in other ways? Do you find yourself opening, for example, doors of opportunity for people in addition to literally holding the door open for somebody to walk through?
Yeah. So Steve, that's what happens when I hold the door open for somebody when they're walking into a gas station and I walked through and they're right behind me. Do I let it go? It's pretty shitty, right? They're walking through the door. So that's what I do. I'm not looking for a handshake. I'm not looking for a back. I'm just doing it because I don't slam it in your face, right? And that's what I should do. Sometimes there's 3 or 4 people keep coming through and I'm sitting there holding the door. I start laughing. I go, I take tips. I'm not kidding. And they look at me and they just keep walking. Like, that guy was weird. I'm in San Diego. You get trans of people, whatever. And my energy is just, if I can put a smile on your face somehow, wherever that is, and I make you smile and laugh and give you just a little bit of encouragement, maybe you're going to take that encouragement home and you're not going to kick the dog. And maybe you're going to do something nice for your wife. Maybe you're just going to be a nicer person. And if that energy bleeds into the next person and the next person, life is now, everybody's got a smile. So that talks about business. And that's how I am as a person. And all of a sudden business, now I'm in, and by the way, I guess we'll get back to the salt here in a little bit, but to talk about the energy level, I think that if people see how you are. So when business opportunity comes or people start talking about I'm in business, I can't shut my mouth without giving advice. And I don't mean like what you should do, because that's not what people want to hear. I always say, look, if you need help with anything, maybe I can help you. Well, what do you mean? And then it's just a conversation. And I always say this, you are the one making a decision, not me. Don't ever make a decision that somebody tells you to do. It's your decision, but you need to be educated on your decision. You need to be calculated on your decision. You need to think of the consequences of your decision. So in my opinion, everything I do is methodical for the most part. If I'm, staying in my brain, even though then I'm still thinking about my consequences. So a lot of people don't think about that. They just think about the great side. I think it's risk and reward. Business is all about risk and reward, and so is life. And so when I do a deal, of any deal, I think about what's the best thing, what's the worst thing. What if I do this? What can happen? Like, these are all going through my brain real quickly, and then I slow down, hopefully, and I make that decision. So helping people is important, but nobody really helped me. That doesn't mean that I'm upset. That doesn't mean I have to get back. That just means I feel like I might have a gift. And that gift is really giving a little bit of constructive criticism on what you're doing wrong. If I say to people, look, and now you're my friend, we're hanging out, you got this business, you're coming over to my house. I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk business with this guy again, unless he asks for it. If he doesn't ask for it, I'm not saying a damn word. These are guys that maybe hey, Carl's back kickboxing. Yeah, my buddy, I'm throwing a little bone here. Young guy in business, 37 years old, whatever. And it's like, he's my buddy. He's my buddy because I just met him like 5 years ago, but he's a good dude. And I just feel like helping him, So, and I help him. I don't financially help him. He's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. You might want to start thinking about this a little bit. And you're like, oh, shit, I didn't think about that. So that's all I say. If he doesn't implement it or something close, it's fine. I don't want to waste my energy either. If I'm talking to you, and this is why I'll tell you how important it is, every single person out there should have what I believe a sphere of influence. We should have a board of directors. We should have a group of guys, people that we want to listen to, that are smarter than us. I want to tell you, never think you're the smartest guy in the room. Never, because you're not. Be around smarter people. That will make you smarter. So, another quote: if you run with dogs, you start barking. And my preacher said that when I was in church school for freaking 10 years. And guess what? I didn't listen to hardly anything he said, but that preacher said, you run with dogs, start barking. So today I realize, as a kid, you grow up and you start fighting, you start getting in trouble. Look at the kids you're around. Hey, go with the other kids, the nerdy kids, or the kids that don't do anything bad. Guess what? I'm all of a sudden like getting up early, being a better person. I'm like, whoa, I'm starting to actually talk like that guy. So, put yourself around people you want to be like. It doesn't mean you have to drop all your loser friends, but maybe I don't spend as much time with them. Maybe you find a group. Maybe I come in and log on and listen to you and listen to guys like me. Those are things you need to do because that's what's going to make you more successful and positive in your brain and keep you on track.
Right. So when you were in business for yourself in Dallas, doing $1 million a year, selling other people's fitness equipment, did you have any employees in the store? Was it a small team?
No, I had three sales guys. My wife at the time, Tracy, and then I had a couple delivery guys, 16-year-old kids, my neighbors.
So
tell us, deliver everything.
So tell us the story of the kind of the early days of Assault Fitness. What brought you into that particular? What gave rise to that evil machine called the Assault Bike? What's the origin story there?
Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, I went from Dallas, sold my company to one of my retailers to get me out of town. I worked for him for a little bit, came to San Diego, opened up another retail store called Fitness to Spa Outlet, did that for 5 years. As I was in that store, this is very important part of the story here, Steve. I think it's really important that people know, that I was really impressed with myself. And I was going home for Thanksgiving talking to Tracy's dad, and I just told him how much money I'm making. A little store here, it's 5,000 feet, it's a nice store. And he says, I'm not sure I'm really, and he's a very successful real estate tycoon in Las Vegas. And he says, a good business is a business that you don't need to be there to make money. And we're like Thanksgiving dinner, right? I'm making like $300,000 a year. He's like, he probably made that today, right? And he says, he goes, a good business you ought to be there. I'm like, slow down. Say that one more time. It says, a good business is a business that you don't need to be there to make money. And I shut up and I thought about it. I'm like, he's freaking right. Now, how do I do it? Right? So I went back to my store and I got on the internet. I started typing in fitness equipment, Asia, fitness, because I had a store. I knew exactly what people want. I know what they don't want. I know that. So I saw the deficiency in the market. I just tried to figure out how can I bring a product in, call it my own, and sell it on my store. So I brought in samples. My business partner says, why are you spending so much money on shipping these samples in? I said, because I'm trying to find one that we can sell. After $10,000 later, I found one, called the manufacturer. I said, put my name on it, which was called Life Core Fitness. At the time, I started this new brand. I bought the first container. I had like $30,000 saved under my pillow. I sent it to them, not even knowing who the hell I'm sending it to. Wired them the money. They sent me a container with my brand on it with an 800 number.
So they basically, you basically white labeled their machine.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do in Asia, right? These guys, they put they have distributors all over the United States, and you can put your name on the brand, right? They manufacture it, blah blah blah. So I did that, and next thing you know, I had 12 ellipticals, everything from Precor, Life Fitness, Punter, everything you can imagine. Customers would come into the store, they would see mine. They're like, "Oh, I've never seen that one before," and I'm like, "Oh, you'll love it. It's a great machine, right? Because hey, I bought it for $300, sold for $12.99, right? That wasn't really why. I actually liked the machine. It wasn't the money, a little bit. So they'd come through. Next thing you know, that's the one they wanted. And then they would say stuff like this: "I've never heard of Life Core," and I'm like, "Oh, family owned, great people." Now, if you call the 800 number in this warehouse, my business partner wife was up there with the baby. Okay. And they would call the 800 number up there. I'm like, "Oh, you got a problem? I promise you they'll take good care of you." The brand at that point, I was selling containers and containers. I went to a trade show in Denver, Colorado that I used to attend as a buyer. Now I have 3 products now, even though I only had one. From that company, I flew in some other samples that maybe I could look at. I decided at the last minute I wanted to go to a trade show and sell to all these dealers. So I did. I got the worst spot by the bathroom. Nobody gets a booth by the bathroom. I went there, set it up, 10 by 10. And everybody I knew, they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm a manufacturer." Like these are the guys I'm buying from. They're like, No. I sell to you. And I go, "I know. Now I'm going to sell to everybody." And they're like, "Well," and they know I'm a good guy. They don't look at me as a threat at that time. Next thing you know, I do that. I pick up probably 70, 80 dealers. In fact, a buddy of mine, now he's a friend, excuse me. He came by the booth. I knew him from Dallas. His name is Scott Egbert, owns Precor Home Fitness, Chicago Home Fitness, Utah Home Fitness, blah, blah, blah. Today, he's the largest specialty retailer in the United States. So I knew him one time I met him. I see him coming down, and everybody's all over this guy, right? He's the hot one. He's got the most stores. He comes by, and he's walking all slow. I go, "Scott." He looks at me. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I got a line of equipment to show you." And he goes, "All right, I'll be back tomorrow." This is Friday at 5:00. The show ends. The show tomorrow is from 10 to 12. I'm like, I didn't get any business from nobody. They all looked at me like I was stupid. He comes back the next day. Make long story short, walks in. He says, "I'll take that, that, and that." Now, by the way, I only have one elliptical. The other 2 are just samples. I said, "Wait a minute, let me get this." "So you say you want that, that, and that?" He goes, "Yeah, I want that, that, and that." I said, "Does that mean how many you want, actually?" He says, "Well, I have 45 stores, and I want one to show, one to go." Never heard that before. I'm like, "One to show." So you want 2 per store, right? And that there's 2. There's 6. I need to ship you 6 at 45 stores, right? Yeah, to start. That's just to start. I'm like, "Okay, great, Scott. Hey, give me a call." I get back. I'm like, "Tracy, we got a problem." It actually works. How do we get the money to buy them? Right. And so, I mean, honestly, it was a struggle, bro. Oh my God. You know what it's sad to do? It's another part. Everybody needs to understand out there. Being in the business world, you have to take risk. And if you're not willing to take risk, you're probably not going to succeed. So I decided to refinance my house that I just bought with 2 little kids. And I had $100,000. That was it. That was basically the only $100,000 I had. No one's going to give me money. So I took $100,000, started buying as many containers as I could. I got another dealer and another dealer. Next thing you know, my store was coming to an end, my 5-year lease. I opened up a warehouse. Well, by the way, I probably have 250 retailers now. I have 8 employees, maybe doing $8 million a year. The other store my store I was doing 2.5. I had a pretty good successful store. Well, my decision now is, do I let go of the store which, by the way, I had to be at that store all the time, every weekend. Couldn't watch my kids play soccer. And I realized this too, Steve. This is the problem with employees. You know, my employees would sit there all day at the retail store. I'm like, hey guys, how's it going? No one's coming today. Nobody's coming in. Nope. As soon as you show up, everybody follows you. Like, I'm serious. Are you calling everybody? I'm like, yeah, I'm calling. You know, I'm running around. I show up around 11:30. Stores start calling. Here's the difference, Steve. People would come into the store and they go, hey, how you doing? And they say, I'm just looking. I said, great. What are you looking at? No, let's stop for a second. I just let them go. I wanted to get a little smile on their face. So this is the lead up to what I'm trying to tell everybody today. So, oh, I'm just looking for some dumbbells. Great. Look at some dumbbells. You need some help? No, I mean, I can look at a dumbbell. Well, I know there's just different. I mean, anyway, what's your name? Where are you from? Oh, I'm John from Escondido. Hey, awesome. So you're starting to work out. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I'm building your trust. Okay. The dumbbells don't mean shit to me. I don't make any money on dumbbells. But if you're going to buy a dumbbell, maybe you need a treadmill. I'm going to build a friend here. I'm going to build a customer. That's what I did. Next thing you know, I took that guy buying some dumbbells and sold him a $3,000 treadmill, just like that. And my staff would be like, was he looking for a treadmill? I said, yeah, he probably was. He just didn't know it.
Didn't know it. Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then Life Course started taking off, closed the store. Okay, now we're going to 2008, right? Remember 2008, anybody? Or did we erase it from our brain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have some vague recollection of that time.
By the way, I want to do a shout out to my buddy Hans, who sponsors this to the UFC. But anyway, I love Monster, by the way.
So for those who are listening and not watching the video, that was a Monster drink.
Yeah, and I drink it, and my buddy, you know, we actually sponsor Monster, by the way. That deal just happened, which I'll tell you in a few minutes. So, so then all of a sudden, there was about 800 retail stores, specialty retail stores in the United States. Well, it dropped down to about 300. So my brand of Life Core Fitness was like recumbent bikes. I had a niche. You know what? Remember, guys, you're not going to try to compete with Life Fitness and Precor, $800 million companies. So what does the market need? You can't compete head to head. You're going to lose every day. I promise you. Pretty much 99.9. So you got to find a niche, right? Where was the niche? Listen to your customer. Customers know everything. The problem is salespeople, we talk too much. Yeah, I'm guilty. Listen, ask questions. Find out what your needs and wants are. Once I find that out, I can tell you anything. So I knew that in the marketplace, people would first thing they'd say when they'd come in, they go, wow, it's so big. I'd say, that's what she said. No, just kidding, guys. So I know, I don't understand why they make large recumbent bikes. So I designed a little compact recumbent bike, 44 inches long, comfortable as hell. People loved it. Went to Asia, found this little one, started changing some stuff on it, made it look cool. Oh my God. I was the #1 selling recumbent bike in specialty business across the United States. Now, 2008 came, boom, everything crashed. I said, oh shit, I'm in trouble. This business is now like Amazon's killing everybody. Everybody's starting to sell direct. Internet's just starting to become alive, And I saw what's going to happen. So I said, what am I going to do? If I'm not growing, I'm dying. That's a fact. And right now I see death very close. So I'm a survivor. So I said, what's the emerging market? Well, what was growing at the time? What was the most popular thing in the country? CrossFit. Well, I wonder if there's one by my house. Oh, there's one right there. Call the guy. Hey, bro, what you doing? I go over there. I go, I might want to train CrossFit. Oh, by the way, I sell fitness equipment, and we became buddies and started training CrossFit. I'm like, hey, let me ask you a question. What do you think CrossFit needs? He's like, nah, nothing. They got everything. They got weights, dumbbell. I mean, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm like, I don't know, man. I want to sell this community. But I don't want to sell dumbbells and everything because there's no money in it, right? So he made one comment to me. Eric Preston, shout out to you, buddy. Still work for the company, high-level CrossFit guy. He says, you know, Roger, he says, if you can make a commercial grade AD4, I think you do well. Well, I know what an AD4 is. It's an old Schwinn Airdyne. So, hey, all my competitors right now, I know you guys are going to hate me right now with the story, but this is the way it is.
So wait a minute. Schwinn Airdyne is a stationary bike with that kind of the fan built.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember back in the day, Paul Harvey, and at the end of the story, he would talk about the Schwinn Airdyne because the Schwinn Airdyne was designed for old people. That's what they sold it. They sold a whole bunch of them for 15 years, right? That's one of the things, that was one of Schwinn's most popular machines ever. Now, that was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And what he was saying to me, a commercial model 84, that was the old steel fan blade, old school shit, right? They didn't make them anymore. So here's the funny thing. MMA guys, the energy level of that machine, what happens is the faster I go, the harder it gets. So I'm constantly fighting the machine, and I will never win. You will never beat that machine. If you do, I will send you a brand new one if you can ever beat it. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 for all you cousins. So the point is, this machine really was used for MMA fighters. Would take this machine, they would train on it. They would do interval trainings, right?
So wait a minute, hold on 1 second. Just to be clear. You're saying that Schwinn developed that machine for old people.
That's correct.
But the people who really found the potential of it were MMA fighters.
Anybody who wanted to do high intensity interval training.
Got it.
And I happen to talk to, so I happen to talk to a bunch of MMA guys and, high level guys and that's what they trained on was the Schwinn. But here's what Schwinn did. This was their mistake. Maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe it's just timing in life. Okay. Because I don't want to get anybody in trouble over there. Schwinn, you guys did a great job and I want to applaud you for making me so rich. So what happened? I took that Schwinn Air9. Okay. So after he said that, check this out. I said, the old 84. You're right. That is a good machine. So I went on the classified. And guess what? I found one. $400. By the way, they sold for $599 8 years ago. This guy's selling one for $400. Right? So I call him and he says, "You're the 30th person that called me today." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I just ran the ad. You're the third." I said, "Listen, I'm trying to find one because I want to ship it to Asia so that doesn't make my own machine, right? Even though I didn't copy it." Did you hear that, guys? I didn't copy it. I just want to understand what it looked like. So anyway, so then I said, "Listen, you got to do me a favor. I will buy that. Don't sell it to me." He's like, "Well, that's what everybody else says." I said, No, I'm different. Listen to me. Where do you live? Chula Vista? 45 minutes away. I said, "You know what? I can be down there in 45 minutes. In fact, are you hungry?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I want to bring lunch." He's like, No, that's okay. But what's your name again?" Exactly. I'm building trust. I went and got it, brought it back, send it to my buddy over in Asia. We started to look, by the way, patents are up. There's no IP on it. Okay. So we decided how that we could start making it into a machine that made sense for a higher end user. The little pivot points had a little counter pin. No bearings. So anyway, I made this machine really heavy duty. And by the way, my company's Lifecore. It is not Assault at this time. 8 years ago. So I said, "Hey, what should we call it? This new bike." And I think I want to make it like gray or black, make it look stealthy, edgy. I want to see it in a aircraft carrier, and I want to see the pilots going out there getting on it and jumping in their jet, right? I want to see it in a warehouse that's dark and grungy. We can't make it white and pink. You make it gray or black, right? And you got to be a cool name now. What's the name? I can't call it Lifecore. Lifecore doesn't sound right. Let's call it. So I'm rounding off names with my buddies, and all of a sudden, Assault. I'm like, "What the hell did you just say, bro?" He goes, "What?" I said, "That word. Assault. That's it. Done. Assault bike. That is the Assault bike." Now, I'm like, okay, I got to sell the CrossFit. How in the hell do you sell the CrossFit? I want anybody to go on CrossFit and start looking on their website and see if you can find one. It's impossible because they don't list them. They just put the person in what city and you got to write it. So it's a nightmare. I'm like, okay, how am I going to sell these guys? CrossFit Games is coming up. My CrossFit Games are at the Home Depot Center in like 3 months. I call my factory. I'm like, "Look, I need 2 bikes." So first of all, I called CrossFit. I said, by the way, they didn't have a corporate office at the time. They have I'm like, I can't even get a hold of anybody at this company. I got a hold of somebody. I said, "Look, I want to put a booth." And they go, "Oh, we don't accept just anybody." I'm like, "Who do you accept?" Right? They go, "It needs to be prevalent to our business." I'm like, "Oh, that's great because my product is prevalent to your customer, your business. Send me a picture of it." I didn't have a picture. The bike that I sent was basically in pieces, and the other ones are like, I'm like, "Oh no." So I had this graphic guy make a picture. Okay. Take a human, put it on it. The guy had long hair, tattoos, put it in the warehouse. I sent him the picture. They said, okay. I'm like, oh my God. 3 days. So oh, by the way, Home Depot was 10,000, or CrossFit booth was $10,000 for a 10 by 10 piece of concrete. That's it. You bring your, I think they might have given you a 10,000 bucks. That's fine. So I get the 2 samples, last minute flown in. People come up, I tell my story, what it is, called Assault Bike. I think I wrote POs for, just, like people, these are guys like workout guys. We had a contest. You ready for this? Once again, you got to make, people want what they can't have. Number one. Number two, it's got to be exciting. If it's not exciting, no one wants to buy it. I can't just sit around and say, hey, how you doing? Come on by, your little workout, your muscle head. Check this one out over here. This has bearings. Blah, blah, blah. Right?
Right.
Who cares about bearings? Now, the people that owned them that couldn't get parts for it, or it broke every week, they understood it clearly. Everybody else was like, okay. So I had a contest. Okay. So the contest was, who can do the most calories in 60 seconds? Oh, this is how this bike became famous.
So calories is one of the measures of output on the machine, right?
That's right. That's right.
What you mean by calories.
That's correct. So in order to get more calories, you got to go faster. Go faster, I dare you. It gets harder. Yeah, that's when you start to get lactic acid build up in your neck, in your calves, and your toes. You get off and you're like, oh yeah. No, people die. I mean, they don't die, but they want to die. It's a lot easier to go that way than sit there and be in pain for the next 20 minutes.
I get vouch for that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of what the bike was known for. Next thing you know, I got lines of people. We have a whiteboard, and we're seeing who got the most calories. And it was fun. We gave away bike. We had crowds of people. So that was kind of our well, next thing you know, okay. They didn't have an air bike ever used in the CrossFit Games. In fact, they only used a rowing machine as a piece of cardio. Now all of a sudden the bike started to become a little bit trendy. Well, now I got to figure out how to get the bike in more eyes and ears. And to do that in CrossFit's not easy. Number one, they don't really give a shit. When I say that, they're not selling shit. They're selling a program and a lifestyle. They're not selling my product. You can't buy them. I'll tell you what, I'll give you $1 million if you put my brand, my bike in your CrossFit Games. They probably tell me, don't ever talk to me again. Okay? You don't bribe me. I do what the hell I want. That is CrossFit. CrossFit does not believe in they believe in equal opportunity for all, fight, feast or famine, survival, and so anyway, I got to know one of the gentlemen that actually is important to the community from the day one with, Greg Glassman. That's Dave Castro. And, I just, became friends with him, became buddies. It wasn't for any ulterior motive. I mean, the dude's a cool dude, he's legit. He's a sniper, like he's a Navy SEAL. Who doesn't want to know a Navy SEAL ride Harleys with him? So anyway, we had fun. And you know what? He just trusted he liked the bike. He heard it and he put it in an event. First time in Madrid, and I was there, and the bike broke.
That was your entree?
Okay, yeah. Now, if this thing doesn't work, if this product doesn't work, remember, I have another company called Lifecore Fitness that's selling to retailers. That's going, right? I'm thinking, okay, this has to work. It will work. But this guy is a dickhead, all right? His name is Dave Castro. Oh yeah. So the first event was in Madrid. I took so at that time now, I'm divorced. My business partner is my ex-wife. I have a new girl, and I take her to Madrid. So we go to Madrid, and the athlete was like each country against each country. Dave's there. So the bike's out there, and all of a sudden, Camille gets on it, and the freaking computer shuts off. There's like 10 bikes, and they're doing all day. So what happened was the battery on the back, as we were rolling it back and forth, I didn't realize that there was a little gap, and if you keep rolling it, it bounces, and it came unplugged. Well, there's no excuses here, guys. Okay, that was strike number one. I saw Dave had a party at a hotel. I see him. He won't even look at me. I'm like, hey, buddy, what's up? I'm like, bro, it's just a bike, he said. Ever happens again, I'll never use your product in the CrossFit Games. I said, okay, it won't happen again. Now, can we have a beer, damn it? So now we go to regionals the next year. He puts them everywhere at the regionals, which is amazing. Well, unfortunately, Rogue was the official equipment supplier of the CrossFit Games. So Rogue bought them because I saw a purchase order for 100 machines. I'm like, why is Rogue buying 100 machines? Well, because they're going to be in the CrossFit. They're going to be in the regionals. So they hire at regionals. They don't hire. They have people that put them together, volunteers. So the volunteers put them together. Here's the problem. If you don't put it together properly and you start using it, it's going to come loose. So I'm now getting calls from people that say, your bike's a piece of shit and it's falling apart during the regionals. I'm like, how in the hell is everybody calling me? Maybe I got a problem. Oh, shit. I got to go look at all my inventory because maybe it's all a piece of shit. Then I realized, no, someone's not putting it together right. Thank God they still worked at regionals. They didn't fail. They were just like wobbling. Now it comes around at the CrossFit Games. I'm now at the CrossFit Games, and I was told to bring bikes, 100 bikes, just in case. Maybe they would go in the games. But they don't say this. He has everything there. He has tents. Rogue has tents and tents and tents of equipment, new shit. Dave decides what he wants to do at the last minute, but he needs to be prepared. So instead of Rogue putting it together.
So I'm gonna interrupt for a second because for people who are listening who are unfamiliar with CrossFit and therefore maybe have heard of the CrossFit Games but can't quite picture it. So the CrossFit Games are a series of a variety of like fitness tests, right? So it could be some combination of lifting weights, running, jumping, and what you're saying is that there was a chance they were going to use the assault bike as one or a part of one of these events. But
Correct.
They don't decide these. Nobody knows what the events are ahead of time. So you can't train for a particular thing. So at the last minute, they, like Dave Castro could say, we're going to, for this next challenge, you're going to get X number of calories on this assault bike. They may have never seen one before. They may have never heard of it before. But
they
all
might
of a
have
sudden,
one. They might have had one. They
Yeah.
might have had one, right? Because I mean, hey, at that time it's been now a year and a half. I've already gone through, by the way, 3,000, 4,000 bikes. I was going through bikes so fast, I couldn't keep up with demand. You know that brand I told you about, Lifecore? It was Life Who? Like, we're like, this thing is on fire, and I don't have enough money to fund it because I can't buy enough in a short amount of time, right? I it's growing every month, 1,000, 2,000. It's like, oh my God, it's crazy, right? So here's where it gets really interesting. And I think this is when I tell these stories, because there's always points in these stories that I think every entrepreneur should understand, and understand risk and reward. And when are you going to make that choice? And is it the right choice to take that risk? Maybe it's not. So now I'm at the CrossFit Games. I'm hired for my buddies' sons that are all like, I'm Uncle Raj, and they're like 16, 17, and I paid them some money. We'll go up to LA. We built the bikes. We built them. I'm not Rogue. I cannot take a risk. Because if they are in there, there's a problem. I'm done, right? I'm on that, like, I'm like 12 years old. Balls just dropped. Man, I'm ready to go, right? You get that one? You might have to cut that one. So here we go. So I'm building them. CrossFit Games are going on. We're in the vendor area. And all of a sudden, okay, I get a call from the main guy at Rogue. Hey, what are you doing? I'm at my booth. I'm coming to get you. Okay. Comes to listen, don't say a word to anybody. It could be in the games. I'm like, the bike? He's like, yeah. What you need to do is you need to get them ready. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Let me go get my tools. So I go back and go, they're like, are we going to be there? I'm like, I don't know. Shut up. Right? I can't say anything or I'm dead. If one word gets out, I'm done. Dave won't even do it if he was going to do it, right? So I just take my tools over there and he takes me there and I'm like, where are all the bikes? They're in like Rogue tent, right? It's supposed to be in a Rogue world. He's like, oh, they're already over in this. Oh, no. This is Saturday. Excuse me. So Saturday, I go through them all. Everything works fine. Sunday comes along. Sunday's the main event. Sunday, 3:00. That guy calls me again. Hey, I need you. I'm like, okay. I go over there. He goes, they want to see the judges. You need to teach the judges how to use your console. in case there's an opportunity that you're in the games at the last minute. I said, great. Takes me down there. There's only 4 bikes. Okay, guys, listen real carefully. There's 4 bikes. This is summertime. It's 110 degrees out. I'm in basically, I'm in LA, and I'm in the worst part of LA possible. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just hot, Midland. So he takes me over there. There's 4 bikes. And I said, where are the other bikes? He says, they're already out. He goes, all right. He goes, I got to call the main guy, have him come over. You're going to show him. So this guy comes up. I still forget his name. He's like 6'4", Marine, fucking mean as fuck. He looked at me, had his headset right. He goes, what's your name? Yes, sir. I literally I wasn't even in the damn military, but he demands that, right? I'm like, yeah. So he goes, so show me how to use this. Show me how to use it. And I'm like, the console? He's like, yeah. I went to turn it on. It didn't work.
Oh, jeez.
And I said, well, it doesn't work. And he goes, what do you mean it doesn't work? I said, well, what happens is, okay, they were in the middle. They were in the sun. Okay, nobody put them away. They were in the sun. I go, I said, well, when the sun hits it, just like your phone, it disappears. He's like, now he tilts his head. He's got his headset right here. And he's got his button. And I know what he's doing. He's going to tell Dave no. I'm like, don't do it. Stand up. Be strong. Be proud. And he goes, so let me ask you a question. He said, what's the chances? I said, it comes right back on. He said, how long is, I don't know that. He said, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. What are the chances that this will fail during the event? The chances? I'm like, the chances? It was like, oh my God, should I tell him? So that way he doesn't put it in? Because if he doesn't put it in, it might be a safer play than putting it in, right? Because if he puts it in and it doesn't work, I'm done. That's better. So that's better than me not winning. I lost, but I didn't really lose. That's a safe play. And I said, 0. And he goes, 0? I said, yeah, 0. I guarantee you this will work. It's okay. So he drives me over. We're going underneath the Home Depot. I'm fucking stressed. Oh my God. I'm like, Tracy, Garrett, here's what I want. I want you guys to bring as many towels as possible. Bring batteries. I need you to bring all the tools. Bring me 2 extra bikes. We're in the Home Depot Center, and they're set up in the tennis area right now. Right.
So were they going to be out in the full sunlight?
No, yeah, they're out there now in the stadium. Dave had already said it's the assault air bike. It was like, oh, not that. And I'm like, oh my God, if this thing fails. So I get underneath there. Dave goes, come here. I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He goes, you stay right there. Right. It was like, right next to him and right next to the stadium where I can run out, where all the bikes up there are lined up. I still have a picture of mine. And the crowds, they're getting ready. They're doing some music. And I'm like, he said, just stay here. I'm not fucking staying here. I'm making sure my goddamn bike doesn't break. So I go get out. There's like 10 lanes. They have 8 towels. So give me the towels. So I walk out and I turn everyone on. First of all, a couple of them didn't come on. So I put a towel over every single console. And I waited a couple, and I'm holding them because they're also starting to freaking blow off. Okay, because it's windy.
Towels are blowing.
I'm like, motherfucker, I got like 3 minutes to showtime. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I put it on. I finally get them all working, right? As this one fell off, but it was on the longest. I take that one off. I put it over here, right? I don't even know what's going on in the back. I have no idea who is what. Everything was like quiet, and I went back over. I was like really surreal. I was like, okay, this is it. This is it. I mean, please don't break. Went through the whole thing. Every time that they would use different athletes, I ran out there, pushed the buttons, because they shut off after 30 seconds. I went push all the buttons, keep them alive. Come on, guys, we can do this. I'm like talking to these bikes, putting them on. Like interval is like 30 seconds. I don't even have time now to put a towel on them. I just got to keep pushing the button and hope that they work. Get to the done. We get done. That one failed. Dave looks at me and he goes, well done. I was like, oh, I know this sucks, bro. He's like, what? I'm like, so much stress. He goes, And so really basically from there, it was just writing orders. Okay. It was writing orders. First year I sold. From that point on, I couldn't get caught up.
So that was the assault bike big debut in the CrossFit world. So you've got virtually every CrossFit gym on the planet.
They now have to buy it.
But they're all watching those games.
Yep.
Plus you have, there are people who are not CrossFitters that still enjoy watching the CrossFit games. And all of a sudden there's this monstrous machine that the top level CrossFit athletes in the world are using. That was your world stage, and it worked. And that's why that's why it was just taking orders from then on.
Yep. And so I'll fast forward now.
By the way, the top of your head is cut off a little bit there.
Yeah. So basically what happens, I made so much money. I went and bought so many yachts and now I'm broke. I'm just wondering if everybody had a job for me. Just kidding. Can you see it?
Yeah. Just tilt your computer a little bit so we can get a little more sky. There you go. Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So yeah. So anything else you want to or should I just keep going?
Yeah. So let me ask you. So that was the debut. Now fast forward for us now. The assault bike is an iconic brand. You have other pieces of equipment. You got this company that's just cranking along. I imagine
20 million now at this point.
20 million. Okay. And how many?
I'm going from 8 to 20 within probably 2 years, 2.5 years.
So you went from 8 million to 20 million in 2 years.
Yep.
I imagine since the pandemic, things have gotten a little hotter for you as well.
I mean, not really.
Oh, really? Okay.
Actually, my business is doubled in the last 8 months.
Okay. So when you say not really, you mean of course.
Of course, yeah.
So your business doubled in the last 8 months. And how many employees do you have?
35.
35. Okay.
Yep.
So that's what we'd like to call a highly productive company, right? And you're doing so the nature of your business is primarily wholesale, or do you do direct to the consumer as well?
I do. So what happens, Steve, is as we're starting to grow, we start getting calls from. I had one sales guy with LifeCore. When all of a sudden the phone won't stop ringing. I'm getting calls from all over the world. I'm talking about, hey, I want to sell your product. Hey, I want to be a distributor. I said to myself, dude, answer those emails, bro. I don't have time. I'm freaking running around with my head cut off. I'm going to Asia back and forth, making sure there's quality issues, blah, blah, blah. Trying to figure out how I can get more money, to buy more inventory, keep up with demand. Next thing you know, 2 years later, I have distributors in 53 countries. To this day, I have distributors in 53 countries that sell my brand. Crazy, right? So then all of a sudden, I knew that this solar bike was going to come to an end. When I say that, not an end. It was a new era. That bike carved out a new category. The air bike was not a category anymore. It was dead. We created it. And now every manufacturer has an air bike because of me. I'll blame. I'm not going to say me. I'm not going to say us. I'm going to call it the market. Right. And this is what you have to always understand. Always follow the market. The market will tell you everything. Don't think you're the smartest guy. I'm not. I just answered what the market was asking me for. And I answered that. And it worked. So then all of a sudden, what I knew, the problem is we had no IP on it because there's no IP. It's public domain. We were at $9.99. I told my team, let's drop it to $7.99. No, you're giving away the margin dollars. No, my competitors are coming out with knockoffs and they're eating at me. And I'm the leader. I started it. Yeah, I'm going to show them who the boss is. Drop the price. You asked me, by the way, a question I didn't answer. B2C wholesale. So I do probably 40% B2B or B2C and then 60% wholesale distributors all over the world. So we do a big business online direct. Anyway, so that's I forgot what I was saying.
It's all right. So you started cutting your price.
Yep. Okay.
There's no the IP is public domain. So you've got all these knockoffs. Rogue has their own version of it.
And they're my dealer and they're my distributor.
Right,
and they
right.
In fact, a funny story is Dave Castro called me and he goes, "Did you see what Rogue put on their website?" And I go, yeah. And he goes, are you mad? And I go, no. He goes, why? Really? I go, not at all. I said, Dave, here's what I say. It's called the evolution of life. The old die, young stay alive, or is it the survival? Whatever happens, happens. So I look at life very simple. I'm here to survive. And competition's good. That means you have something special. If you don't have anything special, no one wants to copy you. So I take it as a compliment. My job is now to make it better. That's it. And if I sit around and try to remember what I had, I'm eventually going to die. So as I've dropped my price, that's the only product I have. I'm doing $20 million. I have 16 employees, and I'm selling a bike. One bike. That's not a good thing when your bike is now a commodity.
Right.
So I'm thinking, what do I do next? Right? What makes sense for this new company, this new assault? Boom. This is like trendy hit. Oh, you're an assault guy. Whoa. Guess what? Everything I do now is really methodical in my lineup. I can go get weights and dumbbells. I got some money now, but I don't want to do that. That's not assault. So about 10 years ago, I saw this treadmill at a trade show, and it didn't have a motor. And I got on, and I was like, this thing's badass. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I own all the patents. And I said, hey, I like that. Let me ask a question. What if I said, you manufacture these? He says, no, not yet. I'm working on it. I said, okay. What do you do? I'm a trainer. You're a trainer with some pads, but you got no money. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what. How would you like to make mailbox money? He says, what do you mean? He said, no, I'm not interested. In fact, I'm going to own this market, and I want to fly around in my jet, not you. I'm not going to make enough money with mailbox money. I said, okay, no problem. So now business was going so well that I decided I need to hire a CEO. Because I was feeling like it was starting to get a little bit out of control as far as operations and all that kind of stuff. So I needed a buffer. Tracy and I had never had a CEO, and he was actually a friend. He was actually a patent attorney, and he was a friend of a friend. And so I knew he wasn't working for the firm he was working for. I said, and he was a pretty smart cat. I said, Casey Bean. I said, interested in the CEO job? And he said, yeah, possibly. Next thing you know, you're a CEO. Well, it's not really easy working with two, mom and pop divorced couple. And he was friends with both of us. But I knew that he had some good value for us. So as I'm talking to me, he comes in and I said, hey, listen, I got an idea. I said, I want to make a manual treadmill. He goes, a manual treadmill? I said, yeah. I said, I think it's the next big trend. By the way, CrossFit had another brand there, but he didn't but no one really used it. But I saw it there and I saw interest. But it was $6,000. I'm not interested, right? But I saw that the machine itself, and I felt because I used a manual treadmill, I saw the value and I saw what I believe would make you a better athlete. So I said to Casey, listen, I need you to do some due diligence for me. I want to see how many patents are out there, and if there's any chance that, we can make something different, that we can design our own so we don't infringe, because I don't want to infringe. I'm not a copycat. Well, but that was 40 years ago, right? That was free. That was for a free man. Now, I don't copy with something that if someone says something tangible, I'll stay clear.
But also that was free and clear IP too. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So anyway, we designed, so I hired some engineers. We made sure that we weren't doing anything to affect anybody else's IP. And my guys, because I couldn't do this on my own, go to Asia, design it, engineer, like you're talking about high level engineering and have the factory work. So I hired these guys and said, okay, it's going to cost you $500,000. It's going to take a year and a half. No. What I do is I go to Asia, I put a sticker on it and I sell it. No. Right? That's not what we do. I said, okay. So I took a chance and I said to my executive team, I said, guys, here's the deal. I said, if this works, it's going to change our company. If it doesn't work, I'm pretty much going to fire half the people here. And I'm just going to get a small spot. At that time, I had a 30,000 square foot, 30,000. I have now 30,000 square foot building, right? Growing pains, guys. But once again, you can't stop selling something that's selling like hotcakes. What do you do? Growing a business can actually put you out of business several times. It almost happened. So here we are. I agree to it. I tell my staff, here's the problem. Here's the great news. This is what's going to happen if it doesn't work. But I'm going to make it work, guys. I'm going to make it work. So don't worry. You never have to worry with me behind the wheel. I'm just telling you the facts. So he makes it. He's about ready to go into business. We're about ready to go in production. I've been going back and forth to China, testing it. My engineers set up a whole line. Did it amazing. These guys made the best treadmill on the market, period, end of story, at a fraction of the price of everybody else. I said, oh my God, this thing's going to freaking sell like hotcakes. I went to the factory. The factory says, how many are you going to sell? Because they never manufactured a manual treadmill first time. And I said 10,000. You're not selling 10,000. Well, they said it in a different language.
But it sounds the same, no matter what.
Yeah, right. So guess what? First year out of the chute, I sold 10,000. Wow. Interesting story is when now at this time I have a board of directors, by the way. These are high level guys that live in the San Diego area that are my friends. They've sold a company, whatever they've done. Very interesting people, different. And this is why I urge everybody, make sure you listen to guys like this guy. Make sure you listen and put yourself around. Go to 4 friends, 2 friends. Just say, hey, once a month, we're going to meet for coffee. Can you help me? These are guys that normally won't, they're not going to waste their time with you. But if you can show them value, that they made a difference to you, and you keep it short in business, you know what? You'll be surprised how many guys like me that would love to help. But most people don't go out of their way to ask because they're scared or they don't know any better. So that's number one. So I did that, and I had 4 guys. We meet every month. I've told them what I'm doing. They know how much money I have in my account. They know what I'm doing. They're like, hey, that treadmill. I have a question for you. You said you're going to sell 10,000 treadmills, right? I said, yeah. And they said, you don't have the money to sell 10,000 treadmills. I'm like, I think you're right. I don't have. Now, when you say that, what do you mean? He's like, well, what are your terms? I tell him. He goes, what's your credit line? I tell him. He's like, okay, well, you're not going to have the money to do it. You got to buy these. And I said, you're right. Let me think about that one. I said, come back next month. I'm going to have an answer how I'm going to do it. So I thought about it. I said, okay. Came back and I said, listen, guys, I got an idea. I'm going to discount that treadmill to all my distributors all across the globe. And I'm going to tell them, I wanted them to give me orders. I'll give it to them for a cheaper price than my normal wholesale I would give to them. They never knew what I had. This was the first time I opened up the opportunity. I took pictures of what we're building. I said, we're making a manual treadmill. It's going to be a Assault Air Runner. It's going to be $39.99. And your cost is this. But if you buy it now and you prepay it, your price is going to be this. I had $3 million in my account in 30 days. So I said, guys, that's how I'm going to fund it.
Yeah.
So that's what great. I did. And the Air Runner took off. The Air Runner, oh my God. The best treadmill. Hey, just ask Joe Rogan. He's got my treadmill and he talks about it all the time. And you know what? I didn't sell it to him. So, he just likes it. And people about our brand, I got to tell you, it's very edgy. It's real. It's hip. But you can still fail. And I have those challenges right now. I won't give you the numbers, but it's a big company and we struggle. It's not easy, but you got to just fight the fight, be true to your word. I get a call. I get a LinkedIn from this kid 4 days ago. I don't even check LinkedIn. I just get a notification. Anyway, I see this. So I see you got a message. So I check on. This kid says, hey, I saw that you guys had a treadmill. My parents bought a treadmill from you guys. I told them to buy it because I use it. I'm from Ohio State. I went to college there. Nuclear molecular engineer, whatever the hell he is, but he's like smart kid, right? I just talked to him yesterday. So he sends this, says, hey, my mom was going to buy a NordTrack treadmill. I told them to buy yours because I use it at my Ohio State University. I have a gym I train here. I use it here. We have all your stuff. I'm like, whoa, this kid's a freaking diehard assault guy. He goes, I love that treadmill. So I convinced them. They paid $3,700. Next thing you know, you had it on sale and you gave away a free bike over Cyber Monday. Like, can I get a bike? Because that's the deal. And I said, hi. I said, I answer him. I say, sure. I said, let me get your information and I'll send it to my team. In fact, here's my number if you need to call me. In fact, why don't you call me on my cell phone number? So he calls me yesterday. He's like, hey, this is Brett. I'm like, hey, Brett. He goes, hey, can you offer that deal? I said, can you offer that deal? And I go, you know what, dude? How old are you? He says, 22. I said, you're 22 years old. You went out of your way to send the president of assault at LinkedIn to get a bike to match the deal. I said, very impressive. I'm impressed. I don't think my 21-year-old daughter would do that. I said, your parents ought to be pretty proud of you. And I said, let me ask you a question. Here's what happened. Your parents got the treadmill. You saw the discount and you want a bike. And your mom said, hey, buddy, if you want the bike, you call him. He goes, yeah. He goes, that's exactly what happened, Mr. Bates. I said, you know what, dude? Well played. I said, I'm more than happy to send you a bike for free. It's not a problem. Okay. So he goes, well, thank you so much. I said, hey, you know what? I said, listen, I said, you're going to do really well. I said, if you feel up to it, just send a little shout out on any of our social media. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. Just talk about the company. And I go, at the end of the day, you got to remember this, Brett. Just do the right thing and you'll be fine. And, you know, I inspired that little kid. And I do it every day with every single person I run into, is just do the right thing. Work your ass off. Don't be afraid of risk. Surround yourself with good people. And you know what? Karma.
That's a great kind of lead into the question that I want to ask you, and we'll begin to bring it in for a landing with this. So for the people that are in your sphere, and let's say your expanded sphere. So I would say the people that work for you, your vendors, your partners, your board, entrepreneurs that you mentor, how would, and it's not an entirely fair question, but to the best of your ability, can you answer how you think those folks would describe you, would describe what it's like to be in that relationship with you?
Now, would they know that I know that? That's different, right? If they don't know, if you said, hey, he'll never know your name versus this is what John said.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally. Yeah. Assume that I was sitting down with them, and obviously it's a generalized question because there'd be different answers. But yeah, if I was sitting down with them one-on-one and saying, hey, tell me about RDB.
So I am one of those guys that's very giving and very friendly and very happy. But I have another side to me. Okay. He's green. And he says, don't make me angry. And that's the problem. See, guys like me have a lot of energy.
What do you mean? What do you mean green? What do you mean he's green?
The Hulk.
Oh, the Hulk. Gotcha.
So what happens, as you know this, Steve, is this. When you have a lot of, all I want you to do is work. I want you to do the right thing. I was born and raised to do the right thing. I was born and raised to work. And that means I say, go shovel that in an hour and have it done and have it look right. That's what I pay for. I'm not going to come keep checking on you. I'm not that guy. But I will tell you, when I do see the final job and it looks like shit, you didn't get it done, it took you 2 hours, I'm going to say something. I'm not going to be nice about it. Now, I'm probably not the best manager. Okay. So this is why I hire people to be a manager. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm horrible at. Always understand. I'll tell you one good question to ask yourself and other people that may work for you. Tell me the worst thing about you. Tell me the best thing about you. I tell you, tell me the worst thing about you. Ooh. Tell me your biggest deficiency. Ooh. How do you say that in an interview? How do you actually tell somebody what my deficiency in business? I don't care about your personal life. That doesn't matter to me. You're sitting here asking for a job. You're my employee, whoever you are. I say, tell me, what is the worst thing I'm going to be seeing from you? Tell me now. Most people can't answer that. Or they lie. Now I can catch you lying too.
Yeah.
I got everything about you right now in this question.
I'm just too dependable.
That's
the worst thing about me is I'm too dependable.
I show up on time. I give it my all. I never complain. And I work extra time.
It annoys people how productive I am.
and I appreciate you. And you're making what, $12 an hour right now? You're fired. Hey, maybe I want to hire this guy. Maybe he's really good, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things that I just,
So Dean.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing about you?
Good question. I knew I was coming too, by the way. So I set you up. I'm kidding. I didn't set you up. That was good, Steve. I didn't actually know that. So I would say the worst thing about me, or something that I need the most help with, is probably communication, and I'm not a good communicator. I might be funny and telling a story, but I'm still not a good communicator. Being a good communicator means which I still don't know, but it means being more understanding, listening, and understand that you think everything is your way. And the way everybody else is doing is not the right way. And in reality, I do believe that when it comes to the stuff that I do. Okay. And my problem is I expect sometimes too much from people. And my employees love me. Dude, I go there and I give them $100 bills off the record. I know I'm on the record, but this is what I do. Tracy and I, for Christmas, we've done this for the last 4 years. We made a lot of money. I guess we do every year for our employees. We give them a big Christmas bonus. Has nothing to do with your job performance. I'm talking $30,000 checks. Okay. Of course, they don't want to leave because they can't. Whatever they're making, they know if the company does well, they know they're getting a big fat check. And this year was tough. Okay, let me tell you, I almost couldn't afford it. Best year I've ever had, best month I've ever had, millions, $7-8 million a month in sales, right? Guess what? I can hardly afford to give a fucking Christmas bonus. Why? Because I owe Uncle Sam so much money. And here's the best part about it. All the money I made, I didn't take it. Oh, no. That's buying me inventory. That's not buying me a big fancy house. I keep it in my business because I got to keep growing. Okay. This is what you do in business. Business is not like, hey, I'm just going to get rich quick. No. You want to run a real business, you better invest in your business. And eventually there's going to be hopefully a good payoff. Who knows? But business is so fun.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's a game of chess.
So you say they love you. You're obviously generous. Those are big bonus checks for people that do that sort of work. I mean, that's the kind of executive bonus that some people expect to
Absolutely.
get. But over and above the money, is that the reason that they love you, because you're generous?
No.
Or what else?
No.
What else is there to it?
No, it's because I think what it is we respect them. We're a family. We all bring, we have parties together. You got to understand, I always say this. If you take care of people, they'll take care of you. So, they see us driving our fancy sports cars. But guess what? I pay them well. I pay them better than anywhere they can go. And I treat them well. I bring lunch. For God's sake, if it's your birthday, you get free lunch. Steve? Huh. Back in the day when we were so busy, I took over another Diamondback company, blah, blah, blah. My employees were working so hard that I hired a masseuse. To come down and get everyone massages all day. 4 masseuse all day long. Go down for a half hour. Get back to your desk. Like, you don't treat people like shit. I go to China and I see these poor people, working their ass off. Now, okay, there's a billion of them. That's not nice, but there's a lot of people. So the way they treat them is just like, they don't think of them as people. And I would walk through the line in China and I would look over and wave at them. They're like, I'm some freaking weird person, I'm like, yeah, that's a person over there, just like me. We're all people. And so I just say, give respect to people. And, I'm no better than you because I make more money and I'm better looking and I'm really funny and I got a hot wife. I do. But I'm just like you. We're all the same, I'm not better than you. I'm only better than you if you're a piece of shit and you don't do the right thing. Yes, I'm better than you. And that's what I believe. So I try to come across as that because that's the truth. Treat people with respect. People work hard for you. There's workers and there's owners. I like workers better than owners, to be honest with you. Owners sometimes, they get a little, and your brain starts to think like this. Whoa. It's like, no. Hey, pal, I'll tell you how much money you're bringing to your table. Hey, when you were born, you had 0. And when you're dying, you're going to have 0. So money is important. But another little saying, guys, is don't chase the money, chase the dream. I tell everybody that because at the end of the day, you can make $1 million. If you're not happy, it's no fun. But if I can have a job that I wake up every morning and a business that I wake up and I can't wait to go to work, you have the thrill of the kill. You got the snake oil. You got what it takes. You got, you have freedom. You have everything. And then just let it go. Just work your ass off. And one day you'll be like me. just kidding, guys.
Be like Dean. Listen,
be yourself.
That would not be a bad thing to aspire to for most of us, Dean. I mean, your story is incredible, and I want to thank you for investing your trust in me to make this your very first ever podcast interview. And you should do a lot more of this, man, if you enjoy it, because you're a natural storyteller. Your story is great. Your heart is evident, and that's a big deal around here. We look for that quality in people, because we know that we know that love is just damn good business, and that exudes from you. So I want to thank you for that. And I also want to give people an opportunity to, if they would like, and if you'd be willing, how do people reach out to you? What's the best way to connect? Just to say hello, or to follow what you're doing, or whatever. Yeah.
So I have a coupon code today, folks, for $39.99. Just kidding. LinkedIn would probably be the best, to be honest with you, because my company has a social Instagram, Assault Fitness, and then I have an Assault_dude, which is really my personal page. That, to be honest with you, I have like 300 followers. I don't really care. I'm not. I don't. I actually don't even want 10,000 followers. I really just want to be me. And it's parts of my life. It's like life. And first I had a private. Problem was I had people contacting me that through the community of CrossFit and other places, and do I accept them? If I don't accept them, they're going to think I'm rude. If I accept them, now I'm accepting them into my family, and they're not my family. I don't know who they are. So I say, you know what? Free reign. I don't care. I don't care who you are. Just, you want to watch what I do? I don't post that much, and I'm just a normal guy. So I would say LinkedIn's probably the best. To help me, stay in that structure of the business world. It won't let me. My other one, I started to think is personal. The other one, I want you to follow me in the business world. Make me, it'd be easier for me to reach out that way.
Okay, so we'll put your LinkedIn profile in the show notes. And
I have a question when you're done.
Yeah. Okay. So this is why I love doing this show, man. I mean, you and I just met a couple of weeks ago, and here we are having this great conversation. And I feel honored to know you. And you're doing such great work. And as you know, I'm a huge fan of your product. Now you have a new huge personal fan as well. And I'm sure our listeners are going to really going to dig this, and hopefully spread it around and share it. So folks, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Love is Just Damn Good Business podcast. And until next time, do what you love in the service of people who love what you do.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Love is Just Damn Good Business with Steve Farber. Join us again next time, because when customer and employee satisfaction just isn't enough anymore, we are here to back you up with specific ideas to operationalize love to make an enormous difference in your business, personal life, and the world around you. Visit our website at stevefarber.com to leave a review. And don't forget to share the love with your colleagues and friends, because after all, it's just damn good business.